Hey Adrian, how's it going? Seems like a really good week, which is awesome. What was I going to say? I actually can't remember what the bench tip was. I think maybe about the setup, right? Um, but my advice anyway would be basically, no matter what the tip was, uh, keep, keep keep trying it. Stick with it a little bit, and see, because obviously it'll take a little while for you to learn any useful bits, and sort of like uh, yeah, learn how to execute it, but also extract any useful adaptation or whatever from doing that drill. Because some of this stuff is if it was that setup thing about pushing yourself up and breathing in that sort of peak pressed position, I think that's what I said. That might take some time to get right, and also it might take some time to open up that bit of your rib cage. So yeah, stick with it a little bit. No worries about the drills. Good luck with the interview. I hope that goes well. Yeah, let me know how that goes. Um, and with the deadlifts, yeah, I think honestly, if you're going to be able to consistently train on that power bar, just slash the load that you're expecting at the moment, because you're absolutely right. Like it will crush you on the heavier weights. Absolutely crush you. For the reasons that for the obvious sort of mechanical reasons. But the way that you will get better, the only way that you'll get better, and the way that you'll get better fastest as well, is that that doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. Uh, the way to solve that problem is just to train with the right weights, so that you can figure out the pattern and get. There'll be some like specific strength stuff that you're missing. You need to be a lot stronger right at the off the floor position in your hips, and your knees, right? And maybe you're missing a tiny bit of that. But if that's such a small position that like a very narrow set of angles you're kind of like weak in. So if you are really really strict with the technique, then you'll get strong there very very fast. So do your best to kind of like pick the right weights and hit these reps and RPEs correctly. I know it's a bit tricky, but the best way of like for strength stuff in general, the best way of thinking about it, you get stronger by having the right um, percentage load on the bar for the reps that you're doing. So if you end up undershooting a bit, that's actually fine. Obviously you don't need to be excuse me, you don't need to be like at a high RPE. In fact, that is often, usually, detrimental to strength gains because the technique changes. So if you can undershoot slightly, that'll actually probably help you figure out those positions. And then I'm sure this won't be a problem for like much more than a block. You'll be back. But do expect it to take about another block with the deadlifts. Anyway, let's take a look at these squats and see how we're doing. That was really easy. You called that a 7 and I don't believe you. That's I think you could the second one was faster than the first one, so by that rate the third one would have been faster than the second one. But no, I think that's really good progress. I think like I also don't mind a little bit of an undershoot here. Again, it doesn't hurt to undershoot slightly and leave some in the tank so that you can like step into that territory in the next block or the next week. That's not a bad thing. If you end up like chronically undershooting but chronically PBing, that's pretty good, right? Better than the opposite of that, which is very very tempting for most people. That looks super good, super good. I like the thought about getting that second rep. Let me take another look at this. I think possibly, sorry to flash that screen at you. I think you should have gone for the second rep. I said it tentatively because it kind of goes against everything I was just saying about being okay with undershooting. Yeah. I think maybe that was harder in your head than it was in real life. Maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't look too bad, right? But hindsight is obviously wonderful here. But I am glad that if you felt like it was going to be an overshoot, I'm glad that you didn't do it. But I think if you were to repeat that next week, I wouldn't necessarily drop the weight a huge amount. If that makes sense. But who knows? I trust your judgment there as well. But there could be a bit of a psychological element here that because again you are the portion right off the floor has become much harder, and that is going to be the bit where you're weak. But your whole barometer for how strong or good a sumo rep feels is going to be massively skewed now. But it might be that you're stronger than you think you are, if that makes sense. But again, I'm kind of really happy to let that system evolve slowly rather than being really aggressive, and then ending up overshooting. So that's fine. And yeah, awesome that bench seems to also picked up and is sort of back to peak strength ish without the wrist pain. So that's awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Good luck with the interview, and obviously if you have other life stuff going on, that's completely fine. Don't be beholden to sending me stuff, but do try if you do have time. But yeah, let me know how the interview goes, and yeah, I'll see you next week.